Okay. So this is No Limit November. We are preparing for No Limit November. As we enter this new month, you're being asked to ask yourself, what do you want? What do you really want? What is something that you really desire that you're holding back from executing or pursuing simply because you are afraid of failure, you're afraid of judgment, you're afraid of having to lose, because you know that some of the things that you want and really desire is going to require for you to leave mindsets, habits, and even people who may have been your enabler in a way, your comfort zone. Are you willing to sacrifice giving up your comfort zone so that you can be able to get to a space where you are actively doing the things that are going to help bring your wants, your desires, your goals, your dreams into fruition? And even if you are not actively doing that, it's to not shame yourself or guilt trip yourself about what you didn't do or what you could have been doing. But it's more about what is it that you can do now in this present moment. Whenever you're seeing this video, what is it that you can do right now that is going to give you, it's going to ignite, it's going to jumpstart you embodying the things that you, the habits, the mindsets, like the being, the becoming of. It just takes a decision to decide that you're going to become a better version of yourself. And even if that doesn't always, it's not always easy, it's just something that you dedicate yourself to. Once you make a decision that I will, complete my wildest dreams, or I will stand in my purpose, I will stand in my calling, whatever it is, right? You have to ask yourself, okay, what am I willing to sacrifice? Hi. Even if it's something that you have to sacrifice. So ask yourself, what is it that you want? Write it down. And once you figure out what you want, or you get an idea about what you want, then ask yourself, where do you start? Okay, what are some things that you can do to start yourself on this journey to self-elevation, to healing, to just becoming a better version of yourself, whatever that may mean for you, right? So the people that I'm speaking to today are needing to embody, or you have been embodying, a sense of optimism, right? You are training yourself to be happy, or I should say have joy, have peace, to have gratitude for wherever you are in your journey, right? It's like you're being asked to embody, or you're working on embodying this feeling of being content, being relaxed, feeling safe, having trust in yourself, understanding that there's power in the slow fade, the slow paced phase, which is like, the phase of your life where you are, you're not where you want to be, but you're not where you used to be. But now you have to slow down because so much things has happened to you in your life that you kind of lost sight of what is it that you actually want to do? Where is it that you actually want to be? It's like when, life has done a number on you, that you have this wisdom to know that regardless of what happens, you're going to be okay. But you have this inner knowing that you're meant for more, you're destined for more. It's always something that's inner. It's like you just know. You have this inner knowing. And even though you go through times in your journey where you may not understand what is your purpose or what are you supposed to be doing, you always find your way back to yourself. And the thing is not holding on to the idea of every season of your life is going to look the same. Different seasons may require a different version of you that is built from the pressure and uncomfortability that you are feeling, regardless of where you are in your journey. And as you are in this slow paced phase journey, it is the indication that it's time for you to allow yourself to be internally transformed, right? By just doing the small little things, the small little acts that are ways of showing yourself that you are appreciative of yourself. Whether that's by the way that you eat, the things that you put in your body, the things that you listen to, do you move your body? All these different things that you are, the little small things that you need in order to take you to any level, to do anything. It's where the discipline is built, right? It's where the dedication is built. And it's the space where, you allow yourself to observe, observation, observe your thoughts, observe your actions, observe your habits, what's going on internally and emotionally and spiritually and mentally, so that you can be able to declutter what is real and what is, what is not, what is actual fear and what is actual fact, what is actual trauma and what is actually the present moment. So it's like, allow yourself to slow down in these seasons where you feel like nothing is happening for you. Release the idea that you have to be a certain way or a certain level before you can do this. It's like, just get clear, because sometimes when you are operating out of survival, you realize that the goals and dreams that you might have set for yourself were minimal because of the type of mindset that you were in. So the point is that when it's slow seasons, allow yourself to do the internal cleansing that needs to be done in order for you to be able to have the courage to show up for what you're asking for. Give yourself time and space to release all the emotional, physical, and mental baggage that holds you back. So sometimes that means sitting with the emotions. That means you having to, feel the emotions, whether it's anger, whether it's sadness, whether it means that you cry. Feel those emotions so that you can release it energetically out of your body. Get rid of it. The only way you can get rid of your emotions is by sitting in them. The only way through is getting your hands dirty, getting your feet dirty, being able to sit in those uncomfortable phases in your life and utilize it as a time to do create a checklist to see where you are. Understand that where you are right now in your life, wherever you are in your journey, whatever your truth is, it's you being able to stand in that truth. Being your authentic self is what is going to help align you with your purpose if you don't know what your purpose is. Or it'll give you the confidence that you need when you're, as you are rebuilding back yourself, after you do all this internal work, after you get rid of all the things that no longer serve you. Because no matter who you are, what walk of life you come from, I feel like everybody has a story, everybody has something that they have to get over or get through, or everybody has a battle that we know nothing about. But the whole point is that when you are vulnerable and authentic in wherever you are in your journey, it not only leads you to your purpose, but it leads you to the tribe of people that were created to support you, that were created to be a part of your village, because it takes a village. It takes a community. It takes togetherness in order for you to be able to fulfill certain things. It's like that saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Sometimes knowing the right person is better than actually, you having a particular, that's like saying you have a degree and you want to get into this job, but your aunt knows the hiring manager. That doesn't compare or even compete with you having the actual credential. Because when you have the connection on the inside, it allows you to go through the process more smoothly. And that's the same thing like within yourself. When you know yourself on the inside, it gives you the opportunity to be able to pivot through life with optimism, with grace, with gratitude, things of that nature. Anyway, I wrote stuff down because I'm not going to lie to y'all. Sometimes when I come on here, I'll have so much to say and sometimes it goes all over, but I'm working on it. This is why I'm coming here. I'm coming live on here now. This is something that's new for me. If you're new here, welcome. And yeah, so back to what I was saying. So sometimes when you have, life has done a number on you, oftentimes you don't even realize that a way of acting out of your trauma is by trying to control, simply because you are in fear of letting your guard down, because you are in fear of allowing yourself to be seen, because you might have been judged all your life, or you just always had you were not in a safe space to be a certain way. So it's going to be very triggering, and it's going to take time, gradual time, for you to break those barriers down, because these are things that you had for, over umpteen years. But regardless of what it is, when you know that you're somebody that, you have this inner knowing that you're destined for success, you're destined for greatness, your ideas are huge, and you're willing and ready to do the work, you just have to hold on to that inner knowing that you will fulfill your purpose. You just have to have that, hold on to the inner knowing that you're destined, whatever you're destined for, you will receive. Now focus on the becoming, because sometimes everybody's here's the thing, everybody's preparational period may be different. Everybody's journey and story is going to be different. But as you navigate through life, you understand that the importance of having tools that you utilize throughout every season of your life is the only thing that you can actually control. Everything else is out of your control, because there's just some things that you just don't see coming. Right? So it's like, as you're in this slow pace season, allow yourself to get to know yourself better. Allow yourself to create certain routines that's going to help you navigate a healthy mental, spiritual, and emotional body, and continue to personally develop with your, you know, your faith and with your mindset, and just see where that takes you. Because there's power in just going with the flow. There's power in taking intuitive actions. So that means that you have to do things when you feel intuitively called. How are you going to even know if you're being intuitively called to do something if you're not even tapped in with yourself? The only way that you could be able to have that strong intuition is by you tapping in with yourself. So in order for you to be able to, you know, in order for you to be able to, you know, fulfill any destiny that you have to have good health. So what are some things that you can do to make sure that you have good health, right? Develop those things, especially when you know you've been through a lot of trauma. Sometimes your nervous system is messed up, and with you having a messed up nervous system, you know, it doesn't, that is just as important as everything else. Focus on those things. Focus on the things that you can control. Especially when you know that you're waiting for some sort of financial breakthrough and you're creating certain disciplines. Just trust that it's going to come, and work on being prepared for when it comes. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you have to get to this level where you are in full understanding that direction is way more important than speed. You have to understand that it's better to take intuitive and practical steps instead of ones that have no intention. There's always more layers that needs to be shed so you can arrive to your next destination lighter and certain about who you are and who and what you were called to be. And it's also knowing that the assignment can change in different seasons of your life. The more you understand change and transformation is inevitable, you learn how to adapt with appreciation, deep gratitude, and grace. Because you understand that everything and anyone along the way, hold on, I'm gonna hold on to, I'm gonna save that for later. Hold on, let me just elaborate on this. So it's like you develop these tools, you're in a constant state of gratitude, you allow yourself to just be in the present moment and live, and all of a sudden you'll realize that you just always align with the right people at the right time. When you are operating in alignment and integrity and just, you know, in this space of becoming, you understand that you don't have to force anything. Things will just fall in your lap. So when it comes to adversity, because what is adversity? A lot of adversity that people go through are the loss of relationships, whether it's romantic, whether it's platonic, whether it's parental. It doesn't matter what it is. Most things happen from, most things happen with other people, right? Or something that you might have experienced by yourself, but it might have been with somebody else, or a type of environment. Whatever it is, everybody has adversity when it comes to relationships. And those are some of the first heartbreaks that we experience, along with other hardships and, you know, unfortunate things that may, you know, have happened. But the whole point is to understand that No one is put in our life. The people that I'm speaking to, you guys could be having a hard time releasing certain relationships, right? Relationships with food, relationships with people, relationships with, you know, yourself. Anyway, what you realize is that as you go throughout life, you have to allow yourself to be okay with understanding that some people, some things, especially if it's like a career, they were just meant to be a part of the journey for you to experience. But it is not something that is meant to be taken with you into the next season of your life. In order for you to get to the next destination, you may have to leave that person, place, or thing behind. Hold on. You realize that you have to leave that person, place, or thing behind because they can no longer go with you in this new season. And you have a trust and inner knowing that it's meant to go that way because it is what is needed, right? And it's also understanding that everything is not always meant to be permanent. You know, things are constantly changing. And just because they're changing, that doesn't mean that you can't feel the emotion. Like, you know what? Yes, I have to do this and it hurts. And allow yourself to grieve. And that takes time. That takes time because grief is grief is very sudden. Grief is very it's just a roller coaster. You're gonna have moments where you are frustrated. So nonetheless, it's allowing yourself to feel, allowing yourself to grieve the old you, the past things you had to give up, everything that you've been through, while developing new habits, new routines, new non-negotiables that's going to help you thrive as you continue to elevate and you move into the next season of your life. And it's having an inner knowing that whatever it is that's meant for me is going to appear excuse me, y'all, damn. It's meant to appear when it's supposed to appear in your life. And this is as long as you know that you're putting in the work. And sometimes the work may be a type of job, but sometimes the work is really it's just on yourself. You have to make sure that you're doing the work on yourself too. It matters. And when you know that, then you understand that whatever it is, wherever you are in your journey, it's a preparation season. That's why it's slow paced, because it's teaching you patience. It's teaching you resilience. It's teaching you. It's giving you a stronger spiritual muscle so that you could be able to navigate through adversity again, but even better. Because the goal is to be able to know how to navigate easier for the next time, which means that it doesn't mean that you're not going to be tested. It doesn't mean that the experience or the, you know, whatever, the person won't come along, but it's that you now understand when not to prolong something, the ending of something, because you've been there before. Mucus. I don't know. Yeah, there's a cycle that you're needing to close or that you have closed where you are no longer investing in relationships that cause you pain. You're no longer investing in relationships that start off from deception or that has deception. You're no longer investing in anything that gives you the illusion of love when it's just manipulation. Because the thing is, true love is not control. True love is acceptance of wherever you are in your journey. Okay? True love is giving you giving yourself the love and support that you need, giving yourself your all first before you decide to invest in anything or anyone. You know, like for right now, wherever you are in your journey, it's like what I'm trying to say is that it gets to a point in your journey where you have to be alone, where you have to be able to strengthen that relationship with God. You have to be able to strengthen that relationship with yourself, your higher self. You have to be able to strengthen that relationship with your emotions, your mental, your physical. When you get discipline and focus about those things, you will no longer allow the things that you used to allow. That's how you break the generational curse, by making better decisions. Sometimes it's not even about the financial freedom aspect. It's about making the same mistakes when it comes to the things that you choose. Okay, let me see. I'm not gonna make this too long. Yes, it's understanding that it's no need to be regretful about the things of the past. Release regret, release blame, and allow yourself to be able to have compassion and grace for yourself, because there's no sense in, you know, being stuck on the past. The reason why you attract these love-hate situations and experiences is because there's been ways in which you have violated yourself. So the step is acknowledging that. The step is doing the work to change that. The steps is making sure that any new experience that you have moving forward doesn't go against alignment. There's just some things that you have to get rid of. Allow yourself to have this ego death. For some of you, it's like there could have been something that was revealed to you that put you in a state of shock, you know, that turned your life upside down. And you haven't allowed yourself to focus on yourself, even if this is just how you've always been all your life. There's always something going on. And you've never had this time, because time is a luxury. You never had this time to be able to focus on you and to actually get focused and to set goals. So instead of looking at this slow-paced, solitary time as punishment, look at it as a luxury. A luxury for you just to show up for yourself and do what you want. And it's like some of you are very gifted Your spiritual gifts are being activated. And that is part of the reason why you have to be single. And even if it's out, far beyond single, but you need to sexually disconnect from anyone at this time, because your GPS, your spiritual GPS, is being upgraded. And that upgrade cannot happen if it's plugged in to anything else other than the host. Some of you, you can no longer ignore your gifts. You can no longer ignore your gifts. You can no longer block your gifts by acting like you don't feel the things that you feel, acting like your intuition isn't telling you something is over or something has come to a completion or it's time for you to move in a different direction. It's like you can no longer ignore these signs. You can no longer ignore these signs because it's part of the reason why you feel the way that you feel. You feel so discontent. It's time for you to look yourself in the mirror and do the inner work. It's time to drop the ego. Stop being so stubborn. Release the arrogance. Because it blocks you from your elevation. And some of you are needing to walk away from anything that anybody who's hot and cold, who's one time they're nice, the next time they're not so nice. One minute they don't have time for you, the next minute they do have time for you. One minute they just want to, indulge in toxic substances and, reckless behavior. And then one minute, this is just something that's off and on, wishy-washy. Anything that's wishy-washy, it doesn't matter what type of relationship this is. Anything that's wishy-washy is not something that you need to take into this new chapter of your life, okay? Even if that means that it's family, it hurts, but that doesn't mean that you can't create distance. That doesn't mean that you can't do what is most important so that you can get to the next level of your life. For some of you, you're very intuitive. You're very, very intuitive. You're very tapped in. But you can sometimes get swayed by lust. And for some of you, there may be some sort of wound that you have to heal, especially if you have been, in inappropriate situations at a young age when it comes to your sexuality. Yeah. It's easy to fall victim to that when you come from that. And it's like when you get to the root of things like that and you know where it comes from, it helps you to be more conscious about how you show up. And you start to understand that those nudges and that intuition is a part of, it's a gift that you have the free will to use and to help you discern, or you can ignore it and put yourself in situations that could be avoided. Your power comes from silence and stillness. I'm not getting that. Your power comes from stillness, silence, also music. Music is very healing for you. Or you're very connected to music. Sometimes you hear, pay attention to the music that you hear. You can receive messages through music. And make sure that you continue to show up for yourself. Yeah. It's like some of you have this energy where you've been here before. Okay? You've been here before. You have this, in a past life you were royal, you were wealthy, you were someone who was very mystical, magical, just powerful because of who you were, because of the family bloodline that you were born into. Okay, let's get some closing messages. I didn't want to make this too long, and I do want to head to the gym, so let's see who resonates with this message. The people who this is for, there's some sort of truth that you have to allow yourself to see. Come clear on your mission and the direction that you want to go in with your career. The ability to persevere will be crucial during this period. Decisions should be guided by what is just, true, and honorable. Think of problems as opportunities for change. Okay? Concentrate on more pleasant and happy memories of good times and comfort. Remember the good times and let go of the bad. You will heal from whatever emotional loss, or grief. And we have the Hermit. The Hermit is, this is like seeking the solutions. Seeking the solutions through stillness, through introspection, revisiting things of the past, seeing the ways in which in the past where you may not have done things when you were doing it from in a space of being just, true, and honorable, right? So it's like, you weren't thinking like that in the past, and this is why you made certain decisions, right? And for some of you, when I say the past, I mean like a lot of the times, things that we have challenges with, they are things that we may have had the same challenges with in a past life. It may be have things that our family and people that was in our, the ancestors and ones who came before us that we know could have had the same issue, and you're meant to break that curse off of the bloodline, right? These are all, reasons why going within is so important. Because by you just being aware, it's already shifting something in your existence, period. Make sure that you find time for peace and quiet because it's needed. Make sure that you're making decisions cautiously. It's like you can take advice from people, but listen to it with a grain of salt. Go off of what you really feel. But only Speak to people who have the outcome that you are already trying to accomplish. You cannot always ask people who don't have what you are trying to seek for answers, because how would they be able to tell you? It's God's plan, regardless of what it is. Trust in God's plan or whatever you believe in. You could be feeling at a crossroads. You don't know what action to take, but it's like you have to just take action. You have to move quick or you can miss out on opportunities. But it's like once you carefully plan, do what is it that you have to do to execute whatever it is that you're planning to do, that you're planning to walk away from, that you're trying to transition out of, whatever it is. You know that this is the plan. You start, taking action and you make sure that you plan. But it's like you don't need to have every single thing to start. Start with what you have. That's just what I mean by that. Set new priorities, set new goals. Some of you have some sort of important news or information that's getting ready to come to you about something that you've been researching or that you've been wanting to work on, something that you've been desiring to build. Make sure that you are paying attention to the details. Watch out for errors and sloppiness. Make sure that you're checking your work for accuracy. There's no get-rich-quick path for you. Apply yourself. Work smart. Learn a new trade or profession or upgrade your skills. Be very cautious with money. It's a good time to begin a profitable venture. What is going to be profitable for you right now in this time? Here's my pen. Yeah, let me get going. What is profitable for you right now? What is a business venture that you can step into that will be profitable? What is something that you can invest in that'll be profitable? Trust your intuition. You know what is it that you want to invest in that you feel will be profitable. When it says profitable, I don't want you guys to take it as what's profitable based on the economy. What's profitable based off of you? What will be profitable for you with your integrity, your morals, and your values? Not selling something because you're going to make money. Selling something because this is something that you love. This is something that you use in your everyday home. This is what I mean about intentional actions when it comes to going towards certain things. Get creative. Get creative and get focused. And some of you will have many offers when it comes to love, platonic and romantic, and you're going to have to be able to know which ones go against your morals and values and which ones are people that you can build with in the long run. Some of you are under 40. Make decisions with your heart. Think carefully before acting and speaking. Be sensitive to others. Be idealistic. Coming across someone that's very considerate and generous. Make sure that you're not running away from making certain decisions, problems, and commitments because it makes things worse. Your first instinct will be to try to do everything on your own. No, back off at the first sign that this isn't working. Selfish decisions bring dishonor and shame. So just make sure that you're not betraying yourself or betraying anybody else when it comes to any type of connections that you have. And for some of you, you may have people that are getting ready to come into your life that want to build with you, but you may be very on guard because of the fact that you've had people betray you. There's a major for some of you, there's somebody, or you are this somebody that is very, especially if you're a male, you're a workaholic, you're very obsessed with success, but you're already financially secure. You can be very stubborn, argumentative, and relentless, very pessimistic. You're very hard on yourself, and like this is how you betray yourself, by the way that you treat yourself. When you like are too hard on yourself, that is not showing the universe that you want experiences that are with ease. You end up getting more hard, hurtful experiences. But there's some sort of major turn in your finances. Use this time to, it says, use this time to assess progress toward career goals and financial plans. If there is little profit, radically change your direction on money issues. Choose low risk investments and plan carefully. So invest, but make sure that they're low risk. Okay. Yeah, this is in regards to a relationship. Yeah, there's some, yeah, for some of you, you're wanting to offer someone some sort of partnership, or you have two choices, two people to choose from when it comes to who you can build with long term versus who may, it's like you may have to leave someone of the past in order to offer something to someone that you feel is more practical. Someone that's more nurturing. I don't know, there's some sort of move, like somebody rather someone that's more nurturing, or someone needs to admit to themselves that they want something that's more nurturing. Things that nurture them, especially when it comes to relationships. Somebody that you're meant to align with is going to have a positive effect on your life, and it may cause some sort of ending with someone of the past. It's like there's two people here. One person is financially stable, they're financially secure, while another person is just a good person. They're, you know, somebody that's now building themselves up, building their pinnacles. Yeah. So there may be two choices. Someone may be more well off than the other. You got to trust your intuition on how you feel, how someone is going to make you feel, how someone makes you feel. That's how you're going to know who you need to invest your time and energy into when it comes to love. Okay, I'll probably do a love reading later on where I just do the cards, but I just wanted to come on here and, you know, this is what No Limit November is. No Limit November, let's do a recap. No Limit November is about choosing yourself, choosing the things that make you happy, choosing people that are loyal, who add to your joy, to your peace, to, you know, soulmate energies, people, soulmates that are friends, soulmates that are lovers, but just choosing people that really support you, okay? But also choosing yourself, making sure that you are doing the things that make you happy, even if it means that you have to make somebody else feel unhappy. It's like no more self-sacrificing behavior, because on an internal level, it stops you from getting to the next level, because you are putting out into the universe, into the world, that you don't value yourself, and that you have no problem settling for things that make you feel disrespected. It's one thing if something makes you feel uncomfortable, but it's another thing to disrespect yourself, to be in a connection, whether it's relational, romantic, or platonic, you're in, or family ship, you're in these connections that are not pouring into you in a way that you know you truly deserve. And yeah, No Limit November is saying there's no limit to how many times I can change and evolve, but every time that I do it, I'm going to have grace for myself, compassion and empathy for myself and the other people involved, and being optimistic, because I know that whatever is being removed from my life is meant to be fully removed so that it can be replaced with something better, right? It's understanding that speaking up for yourself is just as important as choosing the right, you know, as anything else. Is just as important, right? The little things, that's what it is. There's no limit to where doing the little things can take me. You'll be surprised at what change comes from me just choosing myself, right? You'll be surprised. Also, for some of you, don't be too frivolous when it comes to your finances. Make sure that you are being productive. What does productivity look like? Productivity looks like doing all the things that will help you get to a better state of being, and a better state of just, you know, existing, showing up. Anyway, let me go, because she is getting into stuff and I do not want this glass thing to break. One more card and I'm gonna get up out of here. I'll come back and do a love reading. Okay, recovery. Yep, this is your recovery period. So allow yourself to be in this period of getting to know yourself again, discovering the things that bring you joy, discovering the things that, you know, new hobbies, discovering yourself, like who you were before. You can never go back to that person, but you are somebody new now. Have you given yourself a chance to get to know that person? You know, these are the questions that you have to ask yourself. But yeah, I like the way that this live flowed today, but I am gonna come back and do love messages for, you know, those that are single or in situationships, I guess, that are wanting to know what to do, how to empower themselves, so that they could be able to attract better experiences in love, all that good stuff. Yeah, that's what I'll talk about in my next live. Let me write it down so that I remember, since it came up when I started pulling the cards. So, love messages. Yes. Because you know what? We've all been in compromising situations, especially where we are holding on to the potential that we see in someone, even when time after time, as they show up, they show you that these are things that are non-negotiable. These are things that you should not be willing to accept, because accepting it is a disrespect to not only yourself, but it's a disrespect to your time. Because if somebody shows you who they are, you have to believe them. And you believe them the first time. But yeah, I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace.